Hey, welcome to Drinking Water Podcast. I got Edward Rodarte. Um, Edward, man, we've been trying to do this for a while. I know we have one on your podcast, but we're here to talk about your journey in real estate. I know you're a serial entrepreneur. You got fatherhood voices. You got other things going on, but I really want to concentrate on the real estate part of it, your real estate journey. So, can you tell the people a little bit about who you are?
Absolutely. So, name's Edward Darty. I been in real estate now for 25 years. I've been licensed. Wow, it just seems like only yesterday when I started this journey. Based out of Rancho Cucamonga, but I service. I used to say the Southern California market, but I've flown to San Francisco for deals. I've gone all the
Oh,
way
wow.
to pretty much almost to Nevada to do them, up to Blythe, up towards Arizona. So, for me,
What
it's just
company?
been so I'm with Keller Williams. I've only been with three
Okay.
companies in my whole career. The first one was First Team Real Estate in Diamond Bar, and then I was with I take that back, four, because I was with Remax for a couple of years, and then Intero
Yeah.
Real Estate, and then now Keller Williams. So four in 25 years is not a lot of companies.
Yeah.
Usually people jump from place to place.
Yeah,
So I
yeah.
like that consistency. And the beautiful thing that I've learned on this journey of real estate is it really doesn't matter what company you're with. It's really whether or not somebody connects with you. If they
Yeah,
feel
yeah,
that they're comfortable with you and you're knowledgeable, then
yeah.
you could be with XYZ Realty and it wouldn't matter. It just comes down to
Got
that
you.
people skills.
Got you. So what got you into real estate? Because with drinking water, what we try to do is find that aha moment, that moment when you really started following this path of real estate. Because since I've known you, over 20 something years, real estate stayed consistent along with the other entrepreneurship things you started. So what got you into real estate?
Real estate was a fact that I could earn unlimited amounts of income, but it was all up to me. My biggest competitor was me.
Oh, wow.
And it took me a long time to realize that because you're always chasing everybody else, but it's like, no, I'm my biggest competitor. And once I learned that, and once I learned to believe my myself, and I started, learning the scripts and doing the fundamentals, then it just took off. So the beautiful thing about real estate, even for those that are maybe looking to dabble in it, it gives you freedom. And when I say
Okay.
freedom, is it gave me the freedom to pursue other entrepreneurial interests. It was beautiful because you could go and you could do a deal, and man, it's like having a full time job, but you're getting paid for 2 or 3 months, depending on the size of it. So,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
um, so it was that freedom, and I used it as, and even though in my real estate career I did dabble in corporate America and I dabbled in other things, I would always fall back on it. I would always fall
Yeah.
back on it as a safety net. And I'm gonna be vulnerable here and say that the first maybe 8 years, even though I was doing great at real estate, I really didn't believe in myself that I could do it without
Really?
having a safety crutch. Yes, so this is why I always held on to a W 2 job, whether it was with the school police, with the school district, or corporate America, because
Good.
I'm going to just share it here, complete transparency. I didn't have um, faith or belief in myself as much as I was doing great and all this stuff, and people are shocked, like, what?
We
No,
wouldn't have known it since, yeah,
yeah,
go ahead. I'm sorry.
no,
Yeah.
no, no, yeah, but that was just me. Not everybody else believed in me, but I didn't believe in myself. So I always had a safety net, and that's why, yeah, I hit these milestones, but I could have hit a whole nother level if I would
Wow.
have just taken the time to believe myself. So anybody looking to go into any type of entrepreneurship or real estate, the number one first step before anything is mindset. Just
Wow.
believe in yourself, because if you believe in it and you put in the work, everything's already written. The videos are out there, the scripts are out there, the programs. Just go all in, and it's a numbers game. That's it. It's
That's
all
it.
numbers.
So who was there one person that said, "Hey, let me show you how this is done," or was that just you and your drive, your drive that you have? Hey, I'm just going to do this, or whether there's somebody that kind of, hey, let me be your mentor in this, and then you just took off.
Funny thing is, when I went in, I had the opportunity to partner with someone that
Mm.
was a phenomenal salesperson. But I was so stuck on, wait a minute, I'm gonna partner with you, you're gonna coach me, but then I have to give you half my commission, which I'm new, so the company's
Yeah,
already
yeah,
gonna take 50%, and then now you're gonna take 50% of my 50%.
yeah.
And I let the money get in the way. And so
Okay.
my learning curve was about a 5-year process when it could have been a 1-year process. So
Oh
anybody
wow.
looking to dabble in real estate, I'm going to tell you the secret right now. Partner with someone. Partner, find a mentor that's going to cut through the red tape, that's going to shorten the learning curve, and I guarantee you, you'll end up staying in the game and you're going to make more money in the long run than trying to figure this out on your own. And that's my biggest mistake that I made in real estate is I was so focused on the money and I should have invested more in the education from mentorship and coaching.
Wow. I think Henry Ford's book, not Henry Ford, I'm sorry, Think and Grow Rich.
Oh, yes.
It
Love it.
talks about mentorship. You got to have a mentor. It talks about find someone that's
Absolutely.
doing what you're doing, a mentor, and grow from there. Okay, so there's not really one person you go, hey, this guy is the one. This is why I got into real estate. So now you're 8 years in now, and then you finally started drinking water. Finally started believing in yourself. So
Well, wait a
what
minute.
was that?
Let me answer that question honestly, okay? Let me
Uh
answer
huh.
that question. I got into it because I put myself in a bind and I was unhireable. I was
Oh,
unhireable.
oh.
And yeah, and that was
I think I
back in
know. I remember when.
99, 2000. So
Yeah, yeah,
nobody
yeah.
would touch me because I came off of a court case with,
I
an
think
ex.
I remember that. Yeah,
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 it was chaos. So there was about a 2 3 period where nobody wanted to touch me. So I had to start from scratch, and I went back to school. I got my degrees. I
that's
got
a
my
heck of a
MBA,
grind.
and I needed to, like, okay, if you're not going to hire me because you're going to believe all this stuff out there that's in the media, that's on the internet, which was just on Explode. It's like there's two sides to every story. But if you're
Yeah.
going to believe that, I got to go ahead and make myself hireable.
Hey,
So I
I'm
had to
gonna
do it.
interrupt you.
Absolutely.
You've taught me that.
Mm.
You've taught me that. You taught me. It's funny, man. You gave me that speech. You said there's two sides to every story, and you said watch. And so I didn't believe you at first, right? I believe your story, but I never took like when I find out something, I'm like, oh no, this is true about that person, right? Until you said that and I saw what happened and everything with you, then I started, okay, let me back off from the judgment part. And then reading the Bible too, because it says the same thing, you gotta, so and that's what and now that's what I do. I was like, okay, let me wait. Even with the job that I do, I still, all right, there's two sides. Let me start reading. Let me ask questions, things like that. So yeah, thank you.
Absolutely. Let me just touch on that because you opened something that I haven't talked about in a long time, and I feel comfortable sharing.
Yeah.
You know, I was pro law enforcement. I was a reserve. I went to LAPD. I was an explorer. So I was like, focus, focus, focus. And then and I'm just going to say that one decision can change your life. It can alter your life, and it can be in the heat of the moment. It can be a misunderstanding. But what I learned on this journey, and I was like, from the time I was born, I wanted to be a cop. So when I was a kid,
Yeah.
I would never be the burglar. Always had to be the cop, right? But when this happened, and
Yeah.
then everything was stacked up against me, and they're saying like, "Hey, why don't you just plead guilty and take 30 or 40 years?" Like, but wait a minute, I didn't do any of this stuff. What I learned in
Yeah.
that moment, it was like a wake up call for just a whole judicial system. They don't care the truth about whether you're innocent or guilty. You're just a case to them.
Mm-mm.
So and I threw it on the tail and said, no, I'm going to fight for what's right. If you want to put me in jail for 6 life sentences, go ahead. But this is wrong. And then I came out of it, and because I was one of those that I judged. If you're charged with something, then you're guilty.
You're
If
guilty.
you're
Yeah.
going to
Yeah.
jail,
Yeah.
you're like I already made my decision. And
Yeah.
then watching it, and then starting to hear other people's stories, it's like, wait a minute. So that right there just gave me a whole different perspective, and that's where I became a firm believer is no, there's two sides to everything.
Two
And
sides to
just
every
because
story. Yeah.
you end up in the courtroom, it does not mean that that's the truth. And,
Yes, so true.
especially in your job, the people you come across, that's beautiful that you're able to take that and not judge, you know, because at the end of the day, it's God's role to
Oh,
make
well,
that final
yes,
judgment.
yeah. Don't
Not
get me
all.
wrong. I do judge though. I
Yeah,
do judge,
yeah.
but I do have to read. I have to, you know, you got to read and figure out things. You got to ask some questions because our judicial system is, and I know we're getting off topic, but I don't. It's good. Um, our judicial system, in my opinion only, I believe is unfair to people of color. And when you look at our prisons, our jails, everything, if when you look at our system, people of color are the ones that are in prison and jail. And I don't care if you're black, Asian, Hispanic, Polynesian, there's a lot in there. And you look at the numbers and you look at the case files, so it's you can see the injustice. But
And I'm
I
going to take it one
digress.
step further. And I'm going to say, if you're poor, then it's
Oh,
even worse, because if
even
you don't
worse.
have the financial capacities to hire the right counsel, then you're
So
stuck
true.
with what the system offers. So I'm going to say a minority, and coming from, when I say lower demographic, I don't mean in negative, I mean just socioeconomic, you
Yes.
know,
Yeah.
then you have obstacles against you. So
Low
I'm
income.
with
Yeah.
you 100% on
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. So going back on your real estate journey, so you said you were unhireable, so that's what made you put it to the grind. I got to find something, and then
Find
you went
some.
to real estate.
Had to go to real estate, had to go through like a 2-year process of character appeals and all this process. So my next message is for those of you that are trying to reinvent yourself: do not let the system stop you, because um, if you feel in your heart that this is something you should be doing, then you fight for it. You fight for
Yeah.
it. And there were times where I thought about giving up, but I continued going through the circus,
Wow.
through the hoops, and man,
Yeah.
finally they're like, okay, you know what? No, this guy, there's something here. We're gonna give it to him. And I got my
Yeah. Yeah.
license, and then at that point, it's like, okay, let's go. And
So to get a real estate, for me to get into real estate, let's say I'm starting brand new,
Mhm.
and I know you mentor a lot of people. So how do you start off? Well, let's go with that. Where if I want to
Absolutely.
get in it,
So there's schools out there, but I'm going to tell you the easiest way to do it.
hmm,
You can go to a website called Allied Real Estate. Okay, they're based out of Irvine. You can sign up for the classes for like $159. It's online based. You can study, take your practice test, study, take your practice test. It's all time, so you can't like do it all in a weekend. But over the course of a month, 2 months, you can take all your classes, get your principles out the way, and after that, you just go and apply to take the exam. Now, they've added a lot more classes, but getting your real estate license, it's not that hard. And
wow,
when you think about the amount of money that you can make,
yeah,
oh my gosh, wow, no brainer. Now, there's some things that have happened recently, some lawsuits that have changed commissions and so forth, and it's a whole nother animal. But whether it's real estate or financial advising, anything like that, insurance, man, if you got the gift of gab and you work on your communication skills, you can make unlimited income potential.
wow,
And that right there, my friends, unlimited income potential equals freedom.
yes,
All it
yes.
is.
So now I get my license. Let's say I go to Ally. Now what do I do?
Then you start interviewing. And I'm not even going
Okay,
to say interview with companies, interview with teams, interview
okay,
with potential mentors or coaches. Because remember, you want to cut the learning curve. You want to get in and you want to learn from their mistakes and learn their system. Learn their system and be loyal to them. Be
that
loyal to them. That's important, because let me tell you, real estate, although it's big, it's actually small, because those that produce, it's I think the statistic is 80% of the business is done by 10 to 20% of the agents. And
wow,
then the rest is just onesies and twosies. So don't burn your bridges.
gotcha.
If somebody is willing to take you on and teach you, give them a time commitment. You know, up front, hey, I want to go and learn it, and I'm going to give you 2 years, or I'm going to give you 3 years. I'm not saying that you have to stay with them forever, But if they're going to invest the time and the energy and the money and the resources in order to make you a better agent, man, give them that
Yeah.
loyalty to give them your time and effort back so that at least they can reap some of the benefits of it.
So let's say I want to get in real estate. I want to look for a team. Is there something I need to look for? Are the red flags out there? Is it something that, okay, you need to stay away from this type of team or
Mm,
something like a pyramid
yes.
scheme or whatever? Is there something, that I need to look for?
Not so much pyramid schemes, but I would say that um, if you're new to real estate, you would have wanted to stay away from me early in the real estate game. Because me was, I started off wanting to help families, but
Yeah.
then the commissions, the families turned into dollar signs and I lost focus.
Oh,
And then my
wow.
competitiveness kicked in, and then I was no longer doing what I wanted to go in there. So yes, although I did it to rebuild myself, I also was looking for a way to now give back. And
Okay.
that's why I started. So the biggest red flag is look for a mentor or a coach or a team that is truly in the business of helping people,
Nice.
because
Nice.
there's things that can be done in real estate where you can take advantage of people, and not even in a legal way, but just from an ethical and moral perspective, you know,
Yes.
and that's doing the wrong thing.
Yeah.
Even if the board may not deem it that way, no, if you know that you can get your client a better loan or better terms, but it's easier for you to just present it as is because you just want the deal, then that's not doing things the right way.
Wow.
So that's the biggest red flag is, and then in real estate, there's so much ego and masculine energy. And you just got to be careful with that because, my first 20 plus years was a lot of yelling and screaming. And yeah, we were at the top, but in the process, we destroyed people like,
And the
man,
funny part is, I remember going to your office in Rancho Cucamonga one time. I think you were yelling at somebody.
probably was.
And I guess they were used to it because they
Used to.
just, okay.
Yeah, they used to call me the walking HR nightmare. Like when's the lawsuit coming?
Yeah.
You know, but in all reality, I just didn't know any better. Like I was just in such
Gotcha.
a different place,
Yeah.
and I just felt like the way to win at this was to be like just very aggressive and very mean.
Yeah.
And then later on, I realized like, man, what a what a jerk, what an ass, I was, because it didn't
Yeah.
only reflect in my business, but it reflected in how I raised my kids. It reflected in my relationship, my family, with friends. It just, yeah, it just
Yeah.
all around there were a lot of impacts, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. So, okay. So you got in it. The main reason is to help families.
Yes,
Now let's take it. I have my family. I'm a first time home buyer. I got a good job. I want to buy a home. Um, I'm looking at the numbers right here for 30-year fixed. Actually, I might be going too far. So how's the market nowadays when it comes to a first time home buyer in
oh,
California? Because there's no deals, it seems like.
yeah. There's no deals. The biggest thing is educating first time home
Okay.
buyers, because honestly, and people are going to be shocked when I say this, the interest rate doesn't matter. And let me tell you why. The interest rate right now is going to cause you to maybe not qualify for as big of a house as you want or all the bells and whistles, but in a way, that's a good thing because it's forcing you to not overspend. It's keeping you within your financial constraints. Okay. Now, the beautiful thing
I
about
never took that perspective.
absolutely,
That's really good.
the beautiful thing is the higher the interest rate, we know that after the election, rates are going to come down. And when rates come down, you can refinance. And by then, you'll probably have built in about 20% uh, of
Equity.
equity because the rate the market's going. And then being able to refinance, you're going to lower your payment regardless. You might be able to get rid of your MI insurance, which we'll talk about in a little bit. And
Okay.
you could drop your payment maybe $300 to $500 to $600. So I don't. When people look at the rates and are rate conscientious, it's because they haven't been educated by the
Hmm.
right agent or lender to let them know, good, this is going to keep you within your financial boundaries. And then the beautiful gift is going to be when rates come down, you're going to be able to give yourself the gift of a refinance,
Oh
lower
wow.
payment, and you've had built up some equity.
Wow.
So, I we were the biggest team for first time homebuyers, and we stayed in that market. So that's the one thing is even though I had this ego, I
Yeah.
didn't leave the first time homebuyers market. Even though I worked with a lot of in a lot of different market segments, I was comfortable working with first time homebuyers because to me that was like them achieving the American dream, their first
Gotcha.
house.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize it at the time, but now reflecting back on my journey, I didn't leave because that's where I felt where I got the most satisfaction. Because I could have made a lot more money. I could have been selling a lot of $1 million houses, but I chose not to. I've got the experience. I you don't want me on the other side when we're negotiating because I am ruthless. Even though I'm more timid now and
Yeah. Yeah.
my heart, but when it comes to negotiations, like I'm representing my client,
You're
and
still there.
so I let my assistant do all the ugly work, but I don't yell and scream anymore. So
I got you. Got you.
but the first,
So
oh yeah, let me.
go.
So California has a program that's been around for ever since I've been in the market. So when I first started in real estate, it was called My Home, and this is the program where the state lends you the money for down payment and closing costs. And I'm sorry, before it used to be called CHDAP, the California Housing Assistance Down Payment Program. Now it's called My Home. It's been called My Home for about 10 plus years now. This is an amazing program for first time homebuyers. And what happens is there are some income guidelines, but they're very, you can make like over $200,000 a year and still qualify for this program.
Oh wow.
And the state lends you the money for the down payment, and it becomes a silent second on your property. And then if you need closing costs, they'll lend you, they'll put a silent third, and then you pay it back when you sell or refinance. The beautiful thing about this program is most people don't purchase because they don't have the down payment or they don't have the closing costs. This solves that problem. Now, spoiler alert,
Okay.
most lenders will talk you out of this program because they don't make the money. Yep, I let the secret out. Go ahead and hate me. I'm 1 foot out the door. Nothing you can do to me. Okay.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm letting the secret out. A lot of lenders talk bad about the program because they don't make the money that they feel they're entitled to. Oh, gosh, I'm gonna hate more people gonna hate me. They're capped at what they can make with the program through the state.
Yeah.
The interest rate is fixed. I want to say it's somewhere like 6.3, 6.4. You can go Google My Home and you can pull up the rates. You can pull up lenders that are authorized for the program, all the information you need. But that program, I've been doing that program for 25 plus years when it was called
Wow.
SHDAP, when it was called
So
My
so
Home.
do you get that with I'm gonna do the different loans, the FHA, the conventional. Do you do that with those loans, or how does that work? Like if you were to
So with
go,
the My Home program, you can do FHA or conventional. All
okay,
it is, it's just a loan for the down payment and closing costs. However,
okay,
whatever type of loan you do, it's if you have great
it's just
credit
on
and
top.
no
It just
blemishes,
okay,
absolutely.
got you,
But there are guidelines. So
got you.
I'm going to share the guidelines up until a couple months ago because they might have changed.
Okay.
640 FICO score minimum.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot have owned a home in the last 3 years,
Mm-hmm.
and you have, depending on the county, you have to have made under about 180, 190 a year. But like I said,
Okay.
the guidelines change from county to county. Great program if you want to get into a condo. You can even get to a mobile home as long as you own the land and you're not getting in a park. You know,
Oh,
um,
wow.
so yeah, so
Wow, that's a
condos.
different conversation too. Modular homes over, because I've been seeing
Oh
that
yeah,
market, but that's a
oh
different
yeah,
conversation.
oh yeah. No.
Okay, so that loan, okay, then can you speak on the FHA loan conventional? And I know there's one question that somebody posed is is it better to now in this market? But I know you're saying buy, but is it better to rent or to because some people are now starting to say it's better to rent and then order own.
Well, I don't believe that's better to rent because every month that you're writing that check to your renter,
Give it, yeah.
That's just building wealth onto the landlord and not to you,
True.
because it's almost at a point now with rents as high as they are. And not only are rents as high as they are, I'm going to share a story with you just in the last couple of weeks. I sold a house for a client that was going through a divorce. She was looking for a place, has good credit, income. We put in, I want to say, probably 40 to 50 applications from Roland Heights all the way to Moreno Valley, all the way to Yucaipa. The only way we finally got approved is she had to pay 18 months in advance.
I
Because the
didn't know they could
market
do
is
that.
so, oh yeah. But she had the money because she sold her house. But the market is so competitive that she had to pay because she didn't have, she was going to not go back to work and she was going to go back to nursing school. So
Oh,
a lot
gotcha.
of property managers or owners are like, oh, if you don't make 2 to 3 times, like, we're not even going to look at you. It's like, wait a minute. Have a client that has a couple $100,000. She's going to go back to school to better herself so she can make more money. And they wouldn't accept her. An applicant, man, we were driving. Wow. I think I lost money on this deal because I spent probably hundreds of hours, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
But we finally found her place, but she had to pay 18 months in advance. And it was sad just to know that great family, a good person, and
Yeah.
yet we struggled to find her place. So that's how bad the rental market. We would go and look at a property, they would have an open house. There'd be 15 to 20 families lined up outside looking at a rental. And we're talking about a rental that's $3,500 to $4,000 a month. Not even cheap.
Dang,
And you have
man.
families lined up. So
Oh, man.
that's scary, you know?
Yeah, that's real
Um,
scary.
and when you think about, well, for that same amount, I can go and get qualified. I may
Gotcha.
not get all the bells and whistles that I need, but no,
Excuse me.
your
Excuse me.
first home is not your dream home. And let me repeat that. Your first home is not your dream home. Your first home should be functional for your family. Now, my mantra is buy the ugliest house in the best neighborhood possible,
Yeah, yeah,
because you
yeah,
can change your house. All a house is drywall and 2x4s. You can do
yeah.
whatever you want to your house. You can go watch these reality shows and you can deck it all out. But man, you can't change some freaking jacked up neighbors, drinking in the garage and freaking, you get where I'm going with it. Freaking
I get
messy
where you're
lawn,
going with it. Yes,
chaos.
yes, yes.
Absolutely. So,
So go ahead. I'm sorry.
oh no,
S-
that's
So FHA or
mhm.
conventional, what do you mean? Like I'm a first time home buyer. I'm already qualified for the loan that you said, my home, and now I got to qualify or for the FHA or conventional. Where are you steering me to?
So shouldn't steer them anywhere.
Oh, okay,
When someone goes to get qualified with a lender, it's the lender's responsibility, and it's your job as a client to ask them to give you options.
okay.
Never let somebody pick your loan for you, because what happens is when they pick for you, they may pick the loan that's going to give them more commission.
Oh,
So you got to be careful with that. And I'm not saying a lot of lenders are like that, but there are some out there that are not going to do what's in the best interest of the client. And that's where I mean they can be unethical, not from a perspective where they're going to get in trouble, but they're just not morally or ethically doing the right thing for the client.
okay.
And the only difference between an FHA and a conventional, and I'm going to put it in the most layman terms possible, conventional loans used to be for A plus borrowers. You had no lates, you had excellent credit, 720 plus, no blemishes, and you had a better interest rate, maybe 25 points to 50, half a percent better. An FHA loan is for someone that has a late or two, maybe the DTI is a little bit upside down, but they're gonna look over some of the blemishes.
Hmm.
And with a conventional loan, it's not FHA insured.
Okay.
All an FHA loan is the government's insuring the loan. So if you default, they're going to pay off the bank. But the last couple of years, FHA loans have had better interest rates than conventional loans.
Okay.
So it's not a matter of FHA or conventional anymore. It's just a matter of one, what you qualify for, but two, which one's going to be the better terms for you.
Okay. Okay. So on top of that, okay, so what is it? I'm a first time home buyer. What is my down payment? Like, let's go on a $400,000 home. Let's say,
Okay.
what do I put down? What do I got to save up for? how much, and I know let's say we didn't get the my home loan. My
Mhm.
Let's say we didn't get that.
Okay. So 3.5%.
Okay.
So I'm gonna use my fingers. 3, 6, 9, 12, 13, $14,000 down payment for a $400,000 home. So
Okay.
3.5%.
Okay.
But then you need closing costs. People forget about the closing costs. So closing costs is about 1 to 2% of the purchase price. So let's just say that you need another 2% of closing costs. So on a $400,000 loan, 2, 4, 6, 8,000 in closing costs.
Okay.
So roughly about $20,000 you would need for your down payment and your closing costs.
Okay.
And yeah, that gives you the opportunity to now, once you get qualified, there's your money.
Got you, man. So walking me through. So now the conventional loan, we talked about that. So
Oh,
what?
but wait, before I forget,
What?
banks have programs where they offer first-time home buyers also. It's under the Community and Lending Act initiative, and I'm getting that all messed up. But basically, banks are required to lend low to mod income families money, even grants, in order to buy
Is
homes.
that because of that
And they're
lawsuit?
mandated. What's
Is
that?
that because of
Because of
that?
the lawsuit.
Okay.
Because of a lot of different lawsuits. So there's programs out there. So, when there was redevelopment, there was like grant money out there. There were all kinds of programs. There's not a lot anymore, but wherever you're looking, check with your city. Like if you're dead set on, I want to live in, let's just say Pomona,
Yeah.
go to the website and look at what kind of grants or loans the city has.
Really?
Go to the county website. Absolutely. Look at, the county used to have a program, LA County, called the HOP program, Housing Opportunity Program, that gave grants if you stayed in a home for so many
I
years.
think
So
they still got it.
there's so many. They still got it.
Yeah, I believe so. I think one of my clients got that loan or assisted by them.
There's programs out there. Just take the time to research it, because there's a lot of money out there. There's a lot of money that gives you 0% interest. There's grants out there, or there's just ways to just make it easier. And when I say low to moderate income, I've seen programs where you can make $300,000. Okay, this program that just came through, this California Dream for All,
Yeah, yeah.
you could make $1.3 million and qualify for 20% from the state. Okay, that was that Dream for All that everybody was talking about last year and this year.
Okay.
Okay, so these programs are flexible. You just have to do the research
Got you.
or
Got
reach
you.
out to someone that's
That's
knowledgeable.
knowledgeable. Got you, man. Man, this is a wealth of knowledge, man. I appreciate it. This is going to conclude the interview with Drinking Water and Edward Rodarte. Thank you so much for your real estate advice. We got to get you back on and get your other opportunity. I really want to talk to you about your entrepreneurship with other things, but this is really good start, man. I appreciate it. And please, where can we find you, Rodarte?
Absolutely. So, my phone number is 626-625-5184. My Instagram is Edward Rodarte, Rodarte, with the lower score. So just type in Edward Rodarte and it'll come up. And I'm going to tell you, if you're looking to buy or sell a house and you want just someone that's no bullshit, that's just going to be straight to the point, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. That's why people come back to me, because I'm not going to sit here and play this dancing game. Like, I'm going to decide whether we're going to work together. You may reach out to me, but ultimately,
That's
I'm
good.
in a position where I'm going to make that decision. But the beautiful thing about it is, if we're not the right fit, I'm going to refer you to someone that is, because
Amen.
I'm just at a point now where it's going to be very black and white. There's going to be no gray area, and you're going to trust my expertise, or we're not going to work together. And that's when you're working with someone that has your interests at heart, because I'm not here to play games. I'm just here to help
Amen.
families.
Amen. Amen. Well, thank you. Thank you so much. And you can check them out too on Fatherhood Voices. It's very informative for being a father. Check them out, Fatherhood Voices, on YouTube and on Instagram. All right.
Absolutely.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, man. Thank you. I appreciate it.